Today on the 1012 Picks Pod, myself and Chase A. Kiddy are joined by my good friend Joel Penfield to make picks for every single Big 12 game on the schedule. That includes BYU versus TCU, Cincinnati versus Arizona, and Oklahoma State versus Kansas State, plus some thoughts on the latest college football playoff rankings that were released. All that coming up on the 1012.
This episode is brought to you by Netflix. This Monday night, witness the end of an era. John Cena takes center stage for his final appearance ever on Monday Night Raw. One last match, one unforgettable farewell. Come celebrate the legacy of a true WWE legend. Monday Night Raw, November 17th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific Time, only on Netflix. Be there for the moment everyone will be talking about.
Hey friends, this is Audie Cornish, host of CNN This Morning and The Assignment, and guess what? Every story you care about, every angle you want unpacked is now streaming on CNN. That means you can catch my show or other CNN programming whenever you want on your favorite device. And a subscription also gets you access to exclusive video series and unlimited articles. So subscribe to CNN at cnn.com/subscription.
Welcome to the 1012 Picks Pod, where every week myself, Phillip, Slavin, and Chase A. Kiddy from BetMGM and a guest make picks for every Big 12 game on the schedule. 1012 Podcast is the flagship show of the 1012 Network. Find every show on the network at 1012network.com. Of course, we are partners with Sports Social, Europe's biggest sports podcast network. Wherever you are listening, please do us a favor, leave us 5 stars and a review. It really does help the show out. If you're watching or listening on YouTube, please like the video, subscribe, leave us a comment. We would appreciate it. Love to respond to it. Joining us this week as our guest picker, we called him up off the bench in the pinch hitter spot because I goofed with the original guest and got dates mixed, and he'll join us next week. But my good friend, my former Oklahoma State longtime podcast host, Joel Penfield. Joel, welcome back to the show, man.
I'm glad to be here. This has been a long time coming. I think that I've wanted to insert myself in this somehow, some way. And thank you for the opportunity. This is going to be a lot of fun.
Insert yourself. I appreciate that. There
was a pause in there somewhere and I failed to do it. So yeah.
Podcasting is not a visual medium, but for those who don't know, and maybe I'll snap a picture. I'll have to turn my camera back on, but it makes lag. I am the only one here tonight with hair. Well, on the top of my head, anyway.
That's just not necessary.
Yeah, that was just uncalled for. Just uncalled for.
Blatant cheap shot.
I'm just stating a fact. I didn't say there was anything wrong with either situation, either what's going on follically with you guys or myself. Just pointing out an observation, letting people kind of know what the situation is here.
Phillip, are you familiar with God's lesson about hair?
No, you're going to have to help me on this one.
God only made a few perfect heads, and for everybody else, he gave hair.
Ah, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
There we go.
So how do you feel now? Yeah.
I feel like that was I missed that one on Sunday, but I'll bring it up to my preacher and see if he can confirm or deny that being somewhere in the great book. Okay, let's dive into playoff rankings for just a quick minute. Latest ones came out on Tuesday. I don't want to spend too long on this, huh? Okay.
I think it was Romans. I had to think about it for a second.
Okay.
Maybe Ecclesiastes. It's been a while. Anyway, football.
Texas Tech in a great spot. They are up to number 8. Listen, win out, they're in. Honestly, at this point, Texas Tech win the last 2, go to the Big 12 championship game, lose in a close one, they're in anyways. I think they're going to be in as an at-large because I think there's still opportunities for teams in front of them to lose, for them to keep moving up. And I can't imagine they lose either of their last 2 games of the season. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge for a sneak peek of what's coming up later in the show. The question now is just, can they get into the top 4? BYU dropped too far, all the way down to 12th. I think we all kind of knew that was coming, especially in the way they lost to Texas Tech. their overall metrics and rankings aren't especially great, but I don't love that they fell back as far as they did, especially when your only loss is on the road at number 6, or at least number 8, Texas Tech. So, no, that's the AP. Where's the playoff? Good grief. Why?
I got
they're
the
not. I
playoff
was
rankings.
like,
So
they're number
Texas
6.
Tech is at 6. BYU is at 12.
Yeah. I was like, they're at 6. I wrote it down. I'm like, why am I looking at this thing? It's because it's freaking AP rankings. I don't give a crap what the AP rankings are. They don't matter. Yeah, Texas Tech at 6. Great. Great shot for them to try and make their way into the top 4. We'll see if they can do it. BYU dropped too far, 5 spots. Shouldn't have dropped that far. But, when you lose late as opposed to losing early, like, Notre Dame, it dings you. Love that Cincinnati is ranked. It's fantastic. Them at number 25. If they can get a win this week, that would be big for the Big 12, because that would set up a opportunity for BYU and Cincinnati both to have a ranked matchup next week. And of course, Utah is still sitting there at 13. They were idle this week, still sitting in a great spot for a potential at-large. I mean, honestly, at this point, BYU is as well. So still feel pretty good about the Big 12 getting 2 teams into the playoff. The path for 3 still exists. Chase, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's status quo. I think I haven't seen conference playoff odds lately, but at this point, I think it feels more likely than not for 2, just based on like the increasingly diminished role of the ACC, and I just think there's going to be an inclination to be heavy, but not too heavy on the Big Ten and the SEC. So I really think just because of the way we pick playoff teams, I think fairness bias is kind of, I mean, everybody always wants to talk about what a hegemony this is, and how the SEC and the Big Ten are always politicking to get, we deserve 7 bids, we deserve 8 bids, we deserve 9 bids. I really do think in the room there is a sense of maybe even misplaced fairness that is going to keep that from getting too out of control. And I think in years like this, it will rebound to the Big 12's benefit.
It's going to be interesting to see the way that this plays out in the last couple of weeks, and specifically like conference championship weekend, because I'm going to pencil Texas Tech in there. But if Texas Tech loses, are they going to put a 2-loss Texas Tech team in a 2-loss Big 12 team in as an at-large? I don't see that scenario. So I think you're a little optimistic, Phillip, about the potential for 2. I think if Texas Tech was 10-0 when they hadn't dropped that game to Arizona State, and they were 12-0 and BYU or Utah clip them in the Big 12 championship game, then I think the scenario for 2 certainly exists. But right now it feels like it's Texas Tech or bust from the rankings perspective. But, we'll see. Crazier things have happened. The ACC, potentially, the chaos scenario where they could get left out entirely, like if Duke wins the league, could make things a little more interesting, which I'm here for. I want it just for the chaos, because what's more fun than that? But in a more realistic scenario, I think it's a 1 bid for the Big 12.
I also would like Duke to win the ACC, but for totally different and very selfish.
Because that helps JMU, right? Because you can have
it sure does.
Yeah, because you could have the American champ and the Sun Belt champ both at 12-1 or 11-2. Both get
take a lot of drama out of it around these parts.
Oh,
of course.
Go Duke. All right. Well, continue to follow it as we do each week, but we don't want to spend a lot of time on it. Let's talk about last week's results. I don't want to spend a lot of time on these either, but we have to. Chase, congratulations on another winning week. 4-2 last week. You're a big winner. I went 2-4, and our guest Savannah 0-6. So sorry, Savannah, not a good week. Not a good week for you. Chase, you hit on Houston -1. West Virginia -5.5, Texas Tech -10, and the under 51.5 in Liberty. The misses were the over 56 in Arizona, Kansas, which looked like it was going to hit at halftime, and the TCU team total over 31.5, because that game didn't make any sense whatsoever. 4-2 on the week last week, 47, 48, and 1 on the season so far.
Phillip, are you gonna out me here?
No, you can out yourself.
My late. Okay. I texted Phillip going into the later games. So this was TCU and then the Arizona game.
Yeah.
When was the last time anybody had a perfect record on podcast picks? You can imagine what happened after that. 0-2.
Yep. You screwed us all, I think. I think you tempted the gods of fate. Here's more religion talk on the podcast. Listen, if ESPN can talk politics, we could talk religion. Listen, don't text me those kinds of things ever again, Chase. If you do, I'll just have to block you. Okay? Because I think you screwed us all. Because it did not go well. I went 2-4. Hits were West Virginia -5.5 versus Colorado, and the under 52.5 in Texas Tech BYU. The misses were UCF +1.5, over 56 in Arizona Kansas. First half over 28 in TCU Iowa State. That game just made no sense. And Memphis -3.5. I don't know what happened to their defense against Tulane in that first half, but yikes. 2-4 on the week. Now I'm down to 43 and 53 on the season. It's getting ugly. I've got to turn things around quick. This might be my worst season ever picking, which is, I feel like we had a pretty good grasp on things, and the last few weeks have been weird. It's been weird.
I mean, November it's hard to handicap college football in November. It's easily the hardest part of the season, this sort of mid-November period where some teams are dead, some teams you think are dead and are having this weird, play through the finish line period. The favorites are all now overvalued because you've seen them for 12 weeks. The dogs are getting too many points because they're under. It's just, market dynamics. It's a hard sport to handicap once you get into November.
Good to know. I appreciate that information. Like I said, Savannah went 0-6. I don't have to run through all of her misses. Guests are now 42 and 50. They were getting so close. 42 and 50. A bit of a setback. So Joel, just get one right this week, and you'll do better than our guest from last week.
Well, let's see what I can do. I've gotten taken to the woodshed betting this year, so we'll see what happens.
It happens.
I took a self-imposed bye week last week. Like I couldn't do it. I'm not doing this again. I need to reset.
It's okay. Listen, it's
great advice.
Yeah, it's good sometimes. Just go, I need a week off. But no weeks off here on this podcast because there's football every single week. So you guys ready to get going here?
Let's do it.
All right.
I got Diet Coke and crack tea. Let's do it.
I forgot my eggnog in the kitchen. I'll go back and get it in a minute. You guys are talking. Okay, let's dive in. We do this the same way every week, but because we like to hope that every podcast is someone first, we'll let you know what we do here. We pick every game in the Big 12. We go in chronological order. This week, every game is on Saturday. No weeknight games for the Big 12. 4 teams are idle. Colorado, Kansas, Houston, and Iowa State all off this week. As I mentioned before, I wish we didn't have any teams idle. I understand we have 2 idle weeks this season. I wish from the last 3 weeks this season, no one was off. We should all be playing. The last 3 weeks should be a full slate for the full 3 weeks. The last round of idle week should have been last week. Texas Tech is off next week. Definitely should not be teams off in the second to last week of the season. 2 idle weeks or not. Just take a couple of crappy weeks where you get 4 games and let us have the last 3 weeks of the season with full slates of Big 12 football. But I digress. That's not the point here. We kick things off at 11 a.m. on FS1 on Saturday. Cincinnati hosting Arizona. It's the Bearcats versus the Wildcats, a first ever meeting. These 2 teams have never played each other in the game of football, which is awesome and fun. Cincinnati currently about a 6.5 point home favorite. Total in this one, 56.5, depending upon where you shop. Chase, you won last week. You know what that means. You get to go first. What would you like here, sir?
Yeah, fun fact, 0 totals for me this week, which I think is the first time I've ever gone all sides. I like Cincinnati. I'm going to lay the points. I don't quite understand. It's not that I don't understand. I think after the trip out west and they get beat pretty bad, I think the market has come back down on Cincinnati inappropriately. And so I think what we're going to see in this sort of small period of time where, Cincinnati hasn't had the chance to prove that they are, rightfully at the top of the table when they get that BYU game. I think we're going to see some light numbers. And so I'm pretty comfortable laying 6 here against an Arizona team that I think is objectively not as good as Cincinnati.
All right. Cincinnati -6. It's really interesting that the metrics don't like Cincinnati in this matchup. I mean, nobody has Cincinnati covering this number. SP Plus is Cincy -2.1. TCU is Cincy -5.5. FEI is Cincy -4.2. Beta is Cincy -3.9. Parker is Cincy by half a point. Payer is Cincy by 3.7. Kelly Ford gives Cincinnati a 59% chance to win. None of them have them covering, and I don't quite understand it because listen, you all know I don't love eye test stuff, but having watched enough Arizona and Cincinnati to say, like, Cincinnati is the much better team here. Arizona is an unreliable team, especially on the road. Why in the world would I trust Arizona to even keep this a game? I do think Fafita will have some success against Cincinnati's defense with some explosive plays. They give up some explosive plays. Fafita can generate those. But I just don't know that I trust them to keep pace with Cincinnati. Or if Cincinnati continues to run the ball as well as they have, for them to give Arizona enough opportunities to try and keep pace. Cincinnati's offense continues to be phenomenal, especially in the red zone. 8th best red zone offense, 12th in touchdown percentage in the red zone. Coming off an idle week, I know there's a big game next week against BYU, but this feels way more like a bounce back than a look ahead. Like, everyone just thinks about the Utah game. To that note, a really interesting trend, since the start of 2021, teams that lose by 30 or more and then are favored in their next game are 120-41 straight up. Like, Cincinnati's going to win this game. The fact that it's still by less than a touchdown, and it was pretty much 6.5 across the board, and now it's 6 available in a lot of spaces. I mean, I'm riding with you. I don't know why the numbers don't like Cincinnati here. I don't know why they're favored by so little. Like, I get the argument from a Vegas standpoint. I don't know why the metrics don't like Cincinnati. I just don't, because I don't know why you would even remotely be like, yeah, go Arizona here. So I will ride with you, Chase. Cincinnati -6. Joel?
So I'm on your guys' side, but a little bit different. So one thing I like sometimes with these 11 o'clock games, I just want an early win. And with this being a 10 a.m. body clock game for Arizona with a noon kick in Cincinnati, I do wonder about a little bit of a sleepy start. So I'm just going to take Cincinnati in the first quarter -2.5. Get out to a 7-3 lead, 7-0, 10-3 gets me there. Even 10-7 gets me there. So I wasn't comfortable going full game, but I think Cincinnati can come out home. They'll have the home crowd behind them off the bye week after the tough loss. A little maybe of a sleepy start for Arizona, given the time change traveling east. And I'll just take Cincy in the first quarter.
And I think it's actually 9 a.m. body clock.
Is it 9 a.m.?
Yeah,
because I looked and I thought I looked it up and I thought Tucson was an hour behind Central, so I took it as 2 hours.
Let's see.
Cincinnati is Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah,
right, but he's talking about Tucson.
Right, and the Arizona's got weird.
Yes, you are correct. You're correct. Tucson is Mountain.
Yeah. Okay, so it's a 2-hour time difference.
Yeah, 2-hour time difference. 10.
Yeah.
I mean that's a get up at that's a team bus to the stadium probably at what 7:30, 8 o'clock. You're warming up and you're kicking off at 10 a.m. local. That could be a little interesting.
Yeah. No, see, I think that's our first quarter pick on the show. Chase, I don't think you've taken a first quarter. I don't think I've taken a first quarter.
No, I don't like quarter bets. I'll bet halves. I don't like quarters.
That's fine. Yeah, I've done halves. We've done halves before, but
I made enough money betting Indiana fourth quarters last year that I'm like, you know what? I'll get sick with it if I need to.
Listen, do what you need to. I mean, for the Big 12 standpoint, you want Cincinnati to win this because you would like ranked BYU versus ranked Cincinnati next week. Like it's a big game. Either BYU gets to add a ranked win to their resume and help bump them back up ahead of the Big 12 title game, or Cincinnati gets the win and start setting themselves up to make the title game, and then we get Texas Tech Cincinnati, which would still be a wild game. So listen, it's nothing against Arizona. It's just I think best thing for the Big 12 is a Cincinnati win on Saturday. Also in the morning at 11 a.m., this one on ESPNU, Oklahoma State at home versus Kansas State. 2-time Biletnikoff winner Justin Blackman, one of the best players I've ever watched in person, one of the best players to ever play football, absolutely one of the best wide receivers, getting his number added to the Ring of Honor inside the stadium. Speaking of OSU Kansas State, I will remember the 2011 Oklahoma State Kansas State game very vividly. Not one of my proudest moments, but I did punch a hole in a wall at the house in which I was watching that game. It was a long day. And then that game was frustrating as all get out, and so I may have.
You were that guy, huh? You were a hole punch guy.
Not typically, but too much alcohol, bad day, rough game. Again, not my brightest and proudest moment.
My college roommate was a hole punch guy. It's interesting.
By the way, Justin Blackmon in that game against K-State in 2011, 13 catches, 205 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
I will always remember the Sports Science when they used to do those on ESPN, and they did one about
the
him
range of
and
a
talked about
door.
his radius, his catch radius was a full garage door.
I also remember that one. Yeah.
So good. Okay. Back to picks. Kansas State currently about a 19.5 point favorite in this one. Total 52.5 pretty much across the board. Chase, correct me if I'm wrong. This was like 24 at one point. This has come down quite a bit, right?
I saw it at 20.5 but I also I was tied up for a lot of Sunday and Monday, so I didn't get to see sort of the virgin lines that got hung. I didn't see a 24. I did see a 20.5.
Okay. I mean, listen, no shocker here. SP Plus has K-State covering, TCU has K-State covering, FEI has K-State covering, Beta has K-State covering by a lot. Parker's the only one who doesn't at minus 18.8. Let me put it this way. Kansas State has a higher percent chance to win, according to Kelly Ford at 93%, than Texas Tech will over UCF when we get to that number. That's the projection of this. And given the way Kansas State's defense has been playing and the way they've been turning the season around, it's not shocking. Also, Oklahoma State's bad. Also, I'm pretty sure Bill Connolly was specifically tweeting at me today when he posted the SP Plus top 766 for week 12, which is like every team that plays.
Yeah, Harding -1 against Oklahoma State.
Harding -1 Oklahoma State. Harding is a Division II team that's in the city that I live in that won the Division II championship 2 years ago. And he put Harding -1 versus Oklahoma State. And I feel like I was personally attacked with that tweet. Bill, you can apologize to me by coming on the show and making picks some week. I would appreciate that greatly. Listen, I'm very tempted on Oklahoma State here, just coming off the idle week and Kansas State being at home. And at some point they're going to have I don't know if I want to say a win anymore, but at least a better than expected game. But I have such a hard time with that. Kansas State has been so much better. Now, better at home than on the road. Should I pick them to cover a 3 touchdown score essentially? No. Who's got this? ESPN bet. Is this still a 20.5? Not that it makes that much difference between 19 and 20.5, but I'll give myself as much wiggle room as I can. Give me Oklahoma State plus 20.5. I don't feel good about it, but I don't know. I'm just ready for a head coach to be named. Eric Morris, Megatron, whatever. I don't know. Joel, what do you want here, man?
Well, I mean, we got our better than expected game last week when they covered against Kansas, or 2 weeks ago. I was there in attendance for it. I'm like, oh, we played well and lost by freaking 17. But no, this is a very, very simple bet. And it's Kansas State team total over 35.5. No one has scored less than 38 on Oklahoma State in conference play. I don't see a world where Kansas State doesn't get into the 40s. They make mobile quarterbacks have historically killed Oklahoma State, especially this season. They're going to look like, and I live in, K-State, KU country. This is going to be the game that all of the K-State fans for years have been like, oh, Avery's the second coming. He's going to look like it in this game because Oklahoma State is just ass. So, yeah, K-State team total, it's going to hit easy. I don't really care. I'm not going to watch the game. It should be on ESPN the Ocho because no one wants to see this.
God, I can't believe it's on ESPNU and not a but so be it. All right.
It should be hit on every Oklahoma State game should be hit behind the paywall of ESPN Plus, because God knows the only people that are going to watch it are sicko Oklahoma State fans that are still paying attention and not watching wrestling or basketball.
We have other things that distract us now. Chase, what do you want here, bud?
Yeah, I mean, I got a lot of notes here. First of all, and only one or two of them are actually about this game. First of all, you guys will always remember Justin Blackmon's amazing game against Kansas State. I will always remember drafting Justin Blackmon in the third round of my fantasy draft, his rookie year. I did not win the league that year. Let's put it that way.
You felt like you did in that moment, though.
Oh, man, I was like, these morons letting me get Justin Blackmon in the third round. Can you believe this? I'll tell you what else. Hope you enjoy those quirky lines that we've gotten this season from ESPN Bet, because they're already folding up shop if you're not following the industry news. End of the month, ESPN Bet, dead as a doornail. So that's fun too. Listen, Joel, I'm going to take issue with something you just said, which is the only people watching this game on ESPN Plus behind the paywall will be sicko, degenerate Oklahoma State fans. And that is not true, because there will also be at least one Virginia resident who is a sicko handicapper who has real U.S. currency on Oklahoma State plus 20.5.
Oh my God! Why are you doing this to yourself?
Why?
Why are you both doing this to yourself?
As the biggest Oklahoma State fan on this podcast, I can tell you that the Cowboys are going to cover. Okay? Are they going to win? Maybe. I don't know. But they're going to cover, because I'm riding this cover train. I'm telling you, they've turned a corner. Okay? They might even get to 3 wins. This is a good team. I'm obviously selling this a bit hard right now, but
a little bit.
I just think they have gone for it's all the things I've said on previous shows. I think they have evolved from dog shit terrible team to okay, and it's a subtle evolution, you know, from dog shit to but in technical handicapping terms, it's just, this is such a bad team and the record's so bad that the point spread is going to get, you know, jacked up 2, 3, 3.5, 4.5 points beyond what it should be. Kansas State, while playing better than they did in September, is not some amazing team. This is Oklahoma State as a home dog getting nearly 3 touchdowns. I do think they can keep it inside the number, and I think the market is not. They're pricing this team like it's September 15th and not November 15th. So that's my case.
If Kansas State can't win in Stillwater this year, they might never. Just leave it at that. I'm just going to leave it at that. One other thing we're going to leave is the three of us talking for just a minute and take a quick break.
This podcast is brought to you by Carvana. Carvana lets you buy your next car on your terms. Explore a massive inventory online, filter for what matters, and find your perfect match. Then choose delivery to your home or pick it up at one of Carvana's iconic car vending machines. Every car also comes with a 7-day money-back guarantee, so you can make sure it's the right fit. Buy your car on Carvana. Delivery or pickup fees may apply. Limitations and exclusions may apply. See our 7-day return policy at Carvana.com.
Carvana.
All right, we have one more air quotes morning game. This one is actually a noon God's time kickoff. It's our TNT game of the week because TNT has the best broadcast for Big 12 games every single week. And bless them, they just take what they can get and they turn it into absolute gold, into magic. They are spinning straw into gold every single week, no matter what Big 12 game gets put on their slate. Doesn't matter. This week, they're getting Arizona State versus West Virginia. It's an interesting one. Sun Devils, Mountaineers. Should be a lot of fun. Right now, Arizona State, 11.5 point favorite. Total in this one, 48.5. Love games in the 40s. Always a good time. Joel, you're up first, sir. What would you like here?
I'm going to actually take West Virginia plus 11.5. I think it's just too many points with the backup quarterback. I know that West Virginia is not an awesome team, but they got a little bit of juice since moving to Scotty Fox as the quarterback. Got the win last week against Colorado, and got the crazy win against Houston a couple weeks ago. And Jeff Sims has been around college football since like the Obama administration. And like, obviously he had that great game against Iowa State a couple weeks ago, but there is a greater sample. We know what Jeff Sims is. There's a reason why he's still in college football, because he's cashing a check before he goes pro in something other than sports. And he loves to turn the ball over. So I think Arizona State's going to win the game because I think the roster overall is talented. And if Jordan Tyson plays, there's an easy button you can hit 6 to 8 times. That's probably going to win you the game, but it's going to be a one possession game, I think.
All right. Chase?
This was by far the game that I spent the most time handicapping because I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do. I said this I wrote this to Phillip in an email last week. I guess I didn't say it last week. I really wanted to bet against West Virginia last week because of the weird aberrational nature of the Houston result. But the price and the opponent really prevented that because of how I felt about Colorado. So this week, I extra would love to go against West Virginia on the road against, a team that is maybe searching for some kind of affirmation of the fact that it's still good. But this price, I mean, there's now a 12.5 on the board at Hard Rock. It's kind of nuts to be laying this, like Joel said, with a backup quarterback. I went and looked at Arizona State's, game history with or without Leavitt playing quarterback this year. They basically have not won a game against a Power 5 opponent by more than one possession. They have either lost outright or played a one possession game in every single game since Texas State in September. And it turns out that Texas State team sucks too. So it is really hard to imagine laying north of 10 with this particular team. And, all the eyes are very open and clear-eyed over here about the talent on this West Virginia roster. I've, beaten that drum a lot this season. So it's just a little strange for me that this number is as high as it is. I, too, will take the points with West Virginia.
Well, balls. Because I had 2 things written down. One of them was West Virginia plus 11.5. And we know what happens when we have a consensus here on the show. We are 4-7. Consensus curse. It's 4-7 this season. So 4 times have we been accurate, and 7 times have we not. Not a great stat. But I don't want to lay 11.5 with Jeff Sims. Every point you guys have made so far, I had written down here. I hate going with Arizona State with 11.5 points. I just don't. Not that I like West Virginia. I also wonder in this game about the total. The projections are kind of all over the place. No, I'm just screw it. Sorry, West Virginia. We're gonna screw you. I'm riding with you guys. It's the right pick. I like Arizona State. It's gonna be a low scoring, ugly affair. And if it's gonna be a low scoring, ugly affair, I think it's way more likely Arizona State wins and doesn't cover this number than it is that they win by 2 touchdowns.
Let me, since this is a pick show, for the sake of listener education, let me also point out that if you did want to get involved with the total, I know it's a pretty low number here. It's like upper 40s, which for college football is on the lower end. I think Arizona State's 7-1 to the under their last 8 games. So this, to me, West Virginia is more of a 500 total team. Sometimes they're up, sometimes they're down. This to me looks like an under as well, just because I think you got to have 2 teams that are trying to run the ball. You're going to have a running clock. Neither of these offenses, with the quarterbacks that they have playing and running the offense, I think are going to light it up necessarily. So if you are a same game parlay kind of person, I think West Virginia plus the points and the under is really interesting. And I want to say again, 12.5 on the board at Hard Rock if you're on the West Virginia side of this.
Okay, well, are we all taking 12.5 then? Because I didn't see that one on VSiN, but
Yeah, I guess
12.5.
if you're going to give me a 12.5,
if you're going to give me an extra point, I'm not going to say no to it. So far this year, Arizona State is 2-7 to the under, and West Virginia is the 7-2 to the under. West Virginia is 6-4 to the under. It's all right. It shows over record, not under, so they're both.
And if you look at the distribution of those 6 overs and 4 unders, a lot of the overs came earlier in the season when West Virginia's defense was just getting ragdolled all over the place, and then more recently they've played as a lean under team.
Okay. Moving on, we got one afternoon game for the Big 12 this week. Texas Tech, 2 games left on the season, 2 games away from a trip to Arlington. 2 teams to get past for that to happen. The first one up, UCF, coming to Lubbock. Boy, oh boy. Should be a game of football that is played on Fox. Fox loves Texas Tech like so much. 2:30 God's time. Right now, Texas Tech is, good grief, these numbers are all over. I see 23.5. I see 24, 24.5. Point favorites. Use total in this one's 47.5. There's some 48s as well. Chase, you're up first, sir. What would you like here?
I'm laying it. I don't care. is my reaction. I have real US dollar on Texas Tech here minus the number. Hart, you mentioned a 24.5 for those that may like the UCF side. I think this number is actually going to continue to move closer to 27 as we go toward kickoff. But as of tonight, Wednesday, 24.5, again at Hard Rock. Hard Rock has surprisingly sharp numbers. Hard Rock is a lot closer to Circa than it is FanDuel, which I think is pretty interesting. But yeah, I'm laying it. I don't care. Texas Tech's won 9 games this year. All 9 have been by 20 or more. The idea that they are going to slip up here and play a C-plus game and win by 15, there is no evidence anywhere that that's what they're going to do. Home games against bottom half kind of Big 12 teams. I think I actually defined it as teams that are currently under 500. They've played 2 of them this year. Both of those margins were north of 25. I believe one was exactly 25 against maybe Kansas. The other was the game against Oklahoma State, which is 42-0. So just everything about how they have handled business week to week this year says, don't worry about the letdown after the big BYU College game day game. They're going to smash UCF here again. I'm laying the number.
And this, Joel, is why if they were to lose in the Big 12 title game, I'm not worried about them not getting in. They've been an absolutely ridiculously good team all season. Okay, Chase, I'm really torn.
Oh, yeah, they've been killing teams. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm really torn here because I have the same pick as you. But I'm afraid of going 4 for 4 in agreement with you. Not because I think you're wrong, but because I just think that's concerning. So do I take the under because I don't know if UCF will score in this game, but my fear is that UCF's defense is bad enough. Texas Tech might accidentally just go off and decide to score 50 points against UCF in this one and push this one's over. So Chase, we're 4 for 4 this week, sir. I promise I'm not just trying to copy you, but like at a certain point with Texas Tech, you just take them to cover because why would you not? Like what they are. Let's see. Yeah, they're 9-1 against the spread so far this year. And I think the only one that wasn't was the was it the Kent State game where that Kent State scored late and so it didn't. Or was that the Arizona? No, it's just the Arizona State game. I think it's dependent upon when you get the numbers.
Arizona State.
Yeah, just the Arizona State.
Arizona
Game.
State
I think
when
they've
they
covered
lost.
everything.
Yeah, I think we missed on Kent State here because of where we took the number. Like they cover, and their numbers have been ridiculously big all season. So, yep, Texas Tech. I'm just 23.5.
I don't mind you being in lockstep on picks with me. I would just point out from like a contest game theory perspective, you may not care about like trying to catch me or doing any of that stuff. But if that was something you were trying to do, then game theory would say you do have to differentiate yourself and take something else other than me. because then you'd never be able to catch me if we just have the same picks.
Yeah, I understand that. I just don't care. I'm so far behind at this point. I'm just gonna go with what. And listen, I just have all the same things. I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'll just. All right, Joel, what do you want here, bud?
So I'm taking the UCF team total under 11.5. It's pretty simple. Can UCF block Texas Tech's defensive line? No, because no one in the Big 12 can. So they're going to be in single digits. They might not score. I don't really care. I know that Texas Tech is kind of a Death Star and a covering machine. That number, I don't like laying that big of a number more often than not. So I just took the other, kind of an adjacent side of it of Texas Tech's going to dominate this game. But yeah, UCF's not going to score. I don't really. This might come back to haunt me like with a late garbage time touchdown, but that may be the only score they get against Texas Tech's number one defense.
It's not a bad pick, and this is exactly what I did during the Oklahoma State game because I didn't want to lay the number either, probably for similar reasons, and I took team total under 8.5, and I think Phillip kind of laughed because, like, man, this is the epitome of where Oklahoma State is this year. But that was a no sweater. Like, it wasn't. They were not even. Yeah,
that game was over at the opening kick, and this game might be similar. Like first drive, it's pretty much done because when Baron Morton plays, they win by 20. Like, it's just the way that it goes.
And under an 11.5, you're even getting two key numbers there. So
yeah,
in some ways, even better.
When I saw it at 11.5, that was an auto fire because if it was 10.5, I still probably would have taken it because 10 feels right, but that extra number felt nice.
Yeah. Okay. All right, that moves us down to our nighttime slate. We're gonna get to it in just a minute.
Running a business comes with a lot of what-ifs. But luckily, there's a simple answer to them. Shopify. It's the commerce platform behind millions of businesses, including Thrive Cosmetics and Momofuku. And it'll help you with everything you need. From website design and marketing to boosting sales and expanding operations, Shopify can get the job done and make your dream a reality. Turn those what-ifs into... Sign up for your $1 per month trial at shopify.com/special offer.
All right, in prime time-ish, 6 p.m. God's time, ESPN2, Baylor Bears hosting Utah, third straight year for this game, which is just a weird thing to say. This time it counts in conference. The last two, it has not. Utah wasn't in the conference 2 years ago, and last year was a non-conference game. But this year it's a Big 12 game. Here we go. Right now, Utah, 7.5-point road favorite on the road in Waco. Total in this one. Good grief. Some of these numbers are all over the place. I got anywhere from 59.5. I got a 60. I got a 60.5. I got a 61. Y'all, just call each other. Line this stuff up. Okay? Can we? That'd be great. Look. I understand Utah's on the road here. Completely understand that. But this line still feels like short. Utah has destroyed everyone outside of the two teams they lost to in BYU and Texas Tech. In fact, every projection, SP Plus has Utah minus 13.5, TCU 13.5, FEI 16.3, Beta 20.83, Parker 18.6, Pear 18.9. Like, this line is weird. Baylor's minus 8 turnover margin this season. Sawyer Robertson's had 9 turnover-worthy plays in the last 3 games. He has not been playing well. Utah's coming off of an idle week. Like I said, their 7 victories have come by an average of 33.66 points per game. Actually, the weather in this one's interesting. So, weather in Waco this weekend, 15-mile-per-hour winds with gusts of 26 miles per hour. Shout out to Kyle Hunter for this one. Windy Waco, when the average wind speed is 12 miles per hour. 13-6 to the over, which is a little bit different than you typically expect in Waco, but that's the stat. Combine that with Baylor's defensive performances this season, I think Utah is the right side here. They absolutely should be the right side here. But what I need to know is, Chase, what's the best Utah team total you have right now? Because the last time I checked, it was 34.5.
Let's see. I can't believe how much we have become a team total podcast this year.
We
That has
have
been the
never
biggest
done it until this
transformation.
year. And now we're like team totals. We got first half overs and unders.
I think I took a Texas first half a couple years ago, and that was at the time like, whoa, King Exotic. And then now we're just firing on team totals left and right. You wanted the Utah team total? Yeah. Okay. Well, what we have is 34 and a half.
Okay.
I see 34 and a half across the board.
Okay. That's what I had. Give it to me. I'm going to take it. There's zero reason to think that Utah is not going to score 35 points against this Baylor defense. I don't know why they wouldn't. I don't know how they wouldn't, unless they just turned the ball over like 800 times against Baylor. 45, 53, 21, 42. So against everyone not named Utah or BYU. And I guess the Wyoming game where they put up 31. Like they're going to hit. Yeah. Give me the over on Utah team total 34 and a half. Joel.
So we're on opposite sides of this a little bit, Phillip. So I'm going with the full game under 59 and a half. If there's a 60 and a half out there, it'd be great. But
there's a 61.
59 and a half.
There's a 61 at
61.
Fanatics.
What's the juice on? What's the juice on it though?
Sorry, I had to scroll up to see what book it was. Let me scroll back down.
Juice was abandoned on this podcast long ago, Joel.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't care.
Okay.
It's minus 111.
I try not to take anything over like minus 130 for the purposes of this.
No, it's minus 111. So you're good.
Oh, sick. Yeah, 61. I'll take 61 and a half then. Awesome. Utah's best when they can run the ball in this offense. And Baylor has a hard time stopping the run, and quarterback-driven run has killed them most of this year. Jackson Arnold, Sam Levitt, trying to think of who else they played, but a lot of Avery Johnson killed them. Like, that's what they can do. And Devin Dampier is one of the best quarterback-driven run guys in the league, and especially with the offense that they run. If Utah can control this game and control the script of it, they can just take the air out of the ball and just keep it away from Baylor. And I think this actually gets under pretty easy.
Okay, under 61. Chase?
I'm just laying it. I think Ural's fundamentals in this handicap are all correct. But to me, you're like doing the hard thing instead of just doing the easy thing, which is I'll just lay the points. Baylor cannot stop the run. They haven't been able to all year. The way you beat Utah is to run the ball on them and keep the ball away from them. And their EPA per rush is like bottom 15 in FBS. But Baylor's an average run team. And Toy Robertson, like you said, Phillip, not a great past few weeks. And even if he totally turns it around for this game, Utah defense ranks 13th in EPA per pass allowed. So you have to be able to run the ball on them. And I think that's just not really what Baylor does well. So real matchup problem here. I think Utah just runs all over them. And Baylor has to fatten up the interior part of that defensive front for 2026. I have to imagine it would be, the number one thing on the list for the offseason. I will happily lay 7.5 here. I actually bet this at 8.5 earlier today, and I'm a little surprised to see it going the other direction because of those matchup concerns. But oh well, didn't get the best of the number. I'll have to sleep okay tonight.
I feel like the number one offseason thing for Baylor is going to be finding a new head coach.
Well, sure,
but after that, shoring up the interior.
If they get absolutely whacked here, is Aranda done on like Sunday afternoon?
I don't know.
I mean, it's possible. Go ahead, Phil.
Like, maybe, but like, they've been so quiet about everything. Like, I don't get the vibe they're in some sort of like, I think they're going to want to see if they get to a bowl game, because I don't think if they get to a bowl game or not, it's going to have some sort of impact on their decision moving forward. I can't imagine like, hey, he got us to 6-6. So that means we got to keep him for another year, and maybe he can turn it around this time. Like, I don't know that it matters what happens. Like, the season is what the season is. I don't know what would happen. I don't know what would have to happen this weekend for them to be like, you know what, we just got to pull the trigger now. We got to be done with this.
I'm repeating a thing we've already talked about, but it's topical and relevant to this discussion. If you're Baylor and you're frustrated with Aranda, I get it. Do you really want to be the 29th best program looking for a head coach this offseason? Because I don't see how that markedly improves your position unless you feel like your administration has such an edge in identifying that diamond in the rough coach. To me, there are so many jobs open at this point that I cannot imagine being a mid-table Big 12 team and being like, yep, I want to go head-to-head against Penn State and all these other programs. Let's find the FCS defensive coordinator that's going to be the next Nick Saban and bring him to Baylor. That seems crazy to me that you would want to try to pull that off. But I understand that it's a results business, and if you feel like you're existentially frustrated by the results, I get it. I guess to Joel's point, if it's bad against Utah, maybe you have to can them on Sunday of this weekend so that you can get a start on, you can at least be in line in front of the firings to come in the next 21 days.
Oh yeah, because the firings aren't done. There's a ton of jobs open, and there's going to be more.
Oh my God, no!
But there's going to be more in the SEC. Like, there's going to be more Power 4 jobs that open up, and so like, I think they're going. I agree. I almost wonder if they are waiting for a specific reason to fire him this season, and he hasn't necessarily given them one as of yet. And they haven't been eliminated from bowl contention. They've still got 3 games left to try and win one. We'll see. We'll see. Okay. Last Big 12 game on the docket for this weekend. BYU hosting TCU, a former Mountain West rivalry. Y'all remember those days? Yeah, you do. You remember. We got some after dark football, 9:15 p.m. God's time kickoff. So get some coffee late and get ready to stay up and watch this one. At the moment, BYU is a mere 4.5 point home favorite against TCU. Total this one's 52.5, 51.5 are the two different things I see across the board. Joel, I believe you're up first, sir. What would you like here?
This was the game that I had absolutely no feel for, and I wrestled with the most trying to find a side or something I liked. And with the way that the games went for both teams last week, TCU kind of giving a game away in pretty rough fashion with the game-winning punt return for Iowa State, and then BYU just getting worked by Texas Tech from the opening kick. I kind of wonder where the vibes are at for both teams. So I'm kind of expecting a little bit of a slower start. So I like the first half under 24.5. And then maybe it picks up, but I didn't like the full game number. So I think maybe this is just a little bit lower scoring. Both teams trying to kind of figure things out, and we'll see where it goes. But I like that at 24.5. I didn't look for any better numbers. That was just the one that I had.
All right. Chase?
I'm landing with BYU. I don't hold last week's result against BYU because everybody gets destroyed by Texas Tech. So, right. They were so due the way they've pulled out all these games. They were so Virginia too. I'm just so due for what they got last week. I think they're still a good team. TCU, I mean, Phillip more so than me, but I think he was correct and deserves credit, have been on the is something not quite smell right with TCU train for the better part of the last 2 months. They haven't looked totally right since that SMU game, which was September. I don't know what to see out of TCU that says, yeah, they should be a short dog, less than a touchdown on the road in Provo on a night game where BYU, Phillip, I'm sure, has the stat again that's constantly relevant on this podcast. So I'm happy to lay it.
BYU is 40-6 in games to kick off after 6 p.m. since 2019. Why are they a short favorite? I don't like, and I know that there's a lot of like, well, they don't. There's record against the spread's not awesome. It's 4.5. Like, yeah, because sometimes they're favored by a lot. It's 4.5. It's less than a touchdown. By the way, since 2020, in the games played in Provo that fall under the after 6 p.m. kickoff, opponents average 18 points per game. Like, BYU at home, the fans are going to be there. They always show up. They definitely show up for night games. They know the record about night games. They treat after dark late night games in BYU like UCF treats space games, except BYU does it 6 to 7 times a season. What from TCU? Like, what I don't understand it. Like, if you want to tell me, like, you know what, TCU has the potential to be the team that just has some wild and crazy game and plays great against BYU for 1 week on the road. Okay, sure, potentially. But BYU's defense is still good. And Bear Bachmeier just looked like a first-year quarterback less. BYU minus 4.5. There's zero reason whatsoever in an after-dark game in Provo that BYU should be this small of a favorite against a TCU team that is untrustworthy, is being generous. All right, that wraps up our Big 12 picks, so we move on to our last pick of the night. Everyone gets to pick whatever they want. The board is wide open. One non-Big 12 pick for everybody. Let's see. Chase, I believe you're first. And sir, I wonder if I know what you're going to pick here.
I would like to actually go last for reasons that will become clear soon.
Okay. Well, Joel, go ahead, sir. You got the board. Is yours.
I'll go.
What would you like?
All right. So it is coach search season, which means for those coaches that are vying for a bigger job, it's style points season. So I'm going North Texas team total over 44.5 against UAB. I know it's a big number, but UAB's defense is an abomination. I look at like CFB Graphs has all of those, like the advanced numbers, like EPA, the success rate and stuff. It's all red, and red is bad. It's all 115. I mean, just everything on their defense is 116th in the nation or worse. And there's a lot of blue next to Texas, to North Texas. And the last time they played a defense that was equally an abomination, when they played Charlotte, Mestamaker threw for 600 yards. They're going to get to 50. And it's, again, just kind of style point season for Eric Morris, who I would really enjoy as the Oklahoma State head coach, because he can put up points and evaluates quarterbacks well. So North Texas team total over 44.5.
Okay.
You think if we asked Parker, we could get him to put red is bad as like the tagline at the top of the webpage?
Yes. I'll talk to him about it. I bet. I'll see if Pear wants to do it as well. I've got a few that I've considered. We do have an unranked home favorite against a ranked visiting dog this week, Chase. I'll leave that one for you. That's your bag.
Feel free to take it. I'm not taking it.
Okay. I'm very tempted to take Tulsa plus 2.5 versus Oregon State, who's traveling Tulsa. Because speaking of our good friend Parker, who posts the fantastic "How bad did we lose?" graphics.
Did we get beat that bad?
Yes, the team that has ended up more often than not every week on the side you don't want to be on, which is the we outplayed them but lost, is Oregon State. Like every single week, they are a mainstay on that side of that graphic. It is phenomenal, and they're a 2.5 point road favorite at Tulsa. Very tempted to take Tulsa, but I'm going to go with something a little bit more sicko here.
Love it. Play the music.
Can we pause on the Oregon State for a second?
Yeah.
For those who did not see the Sam Houston box score against Oregon State last week, Oregon State outgained Sam Houston 474 to 157.
Oh my God. No.
They lost 21 to 17.
No. Oh my God.
They were up 17-0, and Sam Houston had a 98-yard kickoff return and a 31-yard return of a blocked punt.
So I saw a tweet I want to say it might have been Sunday evening or Monday.
Beeves.
And it was a meme account that said the interim coach at Oregon State got fired, and I actually bought it for a second. I'm like, no, that makes sense.
I saw they promoted the interim offensive coordinators, now the interim head coach. I saw. I was like, you know what? I believe it. After that loss, I too would want to fire whoever's in charge. I'm going with a sicko bet instead. Since the start of last season, games with a total of 40 points or less than or fewer, under 40 points, or 21-8 to the over. Okay. Road teams averaging 19.8 points. Home teams averaging 23. That's all great. There is a game this week with a total under 40 points. And I can't decide if I just want to take the game total or the team total for the other team. The total for North Carolina at Wake Forest is 38.5. North Carolina's offense is awful. But what people don't realize, because no one's been paying attention to North Carolina, is their defense is actually pretty good right now. Like, it's a good defense. Wake Forest's offense is god-awful. I don't think this game goes over 38.5. I don't know. I definitely don't think Wake Forest scores very many points. So what I need to know, Chase, the last number I wrote down for Wake Forest's team total was 22.5 points. Is it still 22.5 points right now?
Well, let's go on a journey of learning and self-discovery and find out.
Because if Wake Forest's team total remains over 3 touchdowns, I think I might take Wake Forest team total under that.
Wake Forest team total currently 22.5 everywhere.
Perfect. I will take Wake Forest under team total 22.5.
I might just like the straight under there, Phillip. I mean, last Carolina games.
Yeah.
35, 37, 33, 39.
I'm overthinking this
I think that's a nice find.
UNC Wake Forest under 38.5. I'm switching. I just gave me the whole game under. Wake Forest will not score 3 touchdowns. They will not score 3 touchdowns in this game. But I think the whole game under is probably pretty good. All right, under 38.5. Give me an under 40 total. I love it.
That's
all
just
right, Chase.
Disgusting.
Yeah, you know what?
It's disgusting, but I love it.
Does that meme sound? That's disgusting.
Yes.
I love it. Chase, you're up, sir.
I have 2 picks. I couldn't narrow it down. I had to roll with 2 picks. And the last time I did this, I accidentally took one of Phillip's picks. Admittedly, that was week 0, and there were only 3 games on the entire board. Nonetheless, I wanted to make sure if I did this again, I wasn't stealing anything from anybody. And you look, Sunbelt Chase is here to give out some candy. That's just what we're doing this week. Somebody needs to explain to me why Southern Miss is only a 4.5 point home favorite against Texas State. Texas State is 0-5 in conference play. They have not won a game since September, and they've been a little unlucky. They've played a lot of close games, and they've all gone against them. So I understand that. Somebody needs to tell me how the first place team in the Sun Belt that has covered every home game since week 2 is only a 4.5 point favorite against a team that hasn't won a conference game. This is ridiculous. If you look at the Action app and you look at I haven't pulled BetMGM specific betting splits for this game, but I've looked at the market-wide ones on Action. It's 2-1 Texas State plus 4.5. What? Why? What are you looking at? What are you doing? If you want to give your money away, just give it to me. We can put my Venmo in the show notes. I don't get this market at all. It's really dumb. So Southern Miss minus 4.5. The other one, look, JMU App State's a rivalry game. I don't care how bad App State is this year. 21 is ridiculous. And, JMU, they get a little ahead of themselves when the little number appears next to the name. So I would say 21 is a bit much for the App State side of that. I would be looking to play the other Mountaineers in that particular game.
Okay. If you're going to take
if he gives a second pick, can I give a second pick?
Yeah, hit it.
There was Indiana minus 29.5 against Wisconsin. If there is one team that's going to cover a big number against a completely inferior opponent with an inferior roster, it's Indiana.
Yeah, because they love to run up the score.
Yeah.
Is Surratt playing this week? Do we know that?
I don't care.
Did you care last week?
I didn't bet it. Remember, self-imposed buy. But I wouldn't have laid that number against Penn State just because I still do value the fact that roster is still good. Like when the other team is at a major talent deficit, they just smoke everybody. And so
that is the Cignetti way. So
yeah,
I don't think you're wrong about that. Yeah. I don't think you're wrong about that. I would want to know if Elijah Surratt's playing before I lay that number.
All right, since we're all taking 2 picks, I'll take what's normally a Chase special, an unranked home favorite against a ranked visiting dog this week. We've talked about this team earlier. Duke is a 4-point home favorite against ranked Virginia. Virginia, of course, just lost last week. Virginia been playing with fire all season. Duke is a weird team who just lost to UConn. I'm so mad because I had in my notes for last week to take UConn to cover versus Duke.
Had it.
And I didn't.
I had it.
So
I did.
I was like, you know what? No one realizes that UConn's actually a pretty darn good football team this year. Duke's the best night has got 4 points. Give me Duke -4 versus Virginia.
Yeah, there's been a lot of movement on that today, Wednesday, recording this Wednesday night, of course. I am assuming, because it was 5.5 when I was getting ready to post my picks today on the blog. And by the time I actually got it posted, it was down to 4. I'm assuming that is somebody found out that Chandler Morris is going to play and that he cleared concussion protocol. I don't know that for sure, but that was my assumption. If you see a line move 1.5 points like that, and there's no public obvious news out there, it's probably somebody has some injury news that they have learned. So that's my guess that what that is. I would lay it. Sure.
Yeah.
If
an article,
Chandler Morris isn't playing, way worse. 9.5.
Yeah, there's an article from 5 hours ago that says there's optimism he's going to play. What is it? UVA.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, so. Yeah. So. Yeah. Absolutely. I need Duke to win the ACC just for funsies. Okay. That wraps it up, Joel. Thank you so much for filling in this week. We appreciate it. Do me a favor. You're rocking your KCSN hoodie. Let everybody know what KCSN stands for.
Yeah, it's for KC Sports Network. Any maybe Jayhawk or Wildcats fans that need a podcast, we got podcasts over there that cover both of those schools. We got KU, K-State, Chiefs, Royal, Sporting KC, KC Current, whatever you need. I host the Royal Show on the network, One Royal Way. So go check me out over there. Follow me on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, at JT Penfield. I tweet about Chiefs, Royals, Oklahoma State, and whatever else I feel like.
Joel, it's always a pleasure, bud. Great to see you. Great to talk to you. Chase.
Yep, thank you.
We'll talk to you again
so much
on Monday's show. And y'all enjoy the games this weekend. Stay safe. Have fun. We'll talk to you again soon.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
We know what you're thinking. I just want jeans that look great, feel great, and hold up. At Ariat, we've been doing some thinking too. We're thinking about fit that moves with you, no matter where the ride takes you. durability that stands up to hard work, harder play, and comfort that never quits. And all this thinking, it's really just about more living. Now, it's time to stop thinking and start shopping. Find your Ariat jeans at Ariat.com or a retailer near you.